One-shot True Feelings Fluff. It's Iwaoi Soulmate AU. I hope you all enjoy it. Iwaizumi Hajime didn't want to know who his soulmate is. He didn't want to love someone just because some unknown power meant them to be together. He cursed the day he would find his soulmate. He was afraid of losing himself, just because of someone he didn't even know yet. He had feelings for his best friend Toro, but since he knew that Toro would always choose his soulmate over him, he kept his feelings hidden. He was anxious that he would lose his best friend to Toro's soulmate. Oikawa Toro, on the other hand, waited his whole life to find out who his soulmate is. He loved the idea of someone loving him unconditionally. Toro was looking forward to the day when he would meet the love of his life, that he didn't know yet. Toro knew well how Iwaizumi felt about soulmates. Therefore, he was very surprised when he found out that Iwaizumi Hajime, who hated the concept of soulmates, was his soulmate. Since he knew Hajime so well, he was very scared to tell him, but he knew he would have to tell him sooner or later. Iwa-chan, come over to my house tonight? I don't have time. Shitikawa, I have to study. Please Iwa-chan, it's important. Can't wait until the weekend? No, Iwa-chan. If I don't tell you today, I may never have the courage to do it again. Iwaizumi groaned in frustration, but he nodded nonetheless and slung his bag over his shoulder. If it's that important, I can do without studying for a day. Thank you, Iwa-chan. I can help you study afterwards if you want. If you still want to be friends with me after that. Toro whispered these words, but Iwaizumi could still understand them. He stopped and turned to Toro. Toro had his head down and was fighting back tears. The thought of Iwaizumi not wanting to be friends with him anymore and losing his best friend and soulmate at the same time scared him immensely. Toro didn't realize Iwaizumi had turned around until he received a light smack on the back of the head. Hey Trashikawa, what are you talking about? We've been best friends for as long as I can remember. Our friendship will not end because of a conversation. I can't imagine anything that's so bad that I didn't want to be friends with you anymore. So wipe away those ugly tears and hurry before I kick your ass. Toro nodded and wiped away the tears. He smiled slightly and looked his best friend in the eye. Mean Iwa-chan? Toro and Iwaizumi went to Toro's house together. The two have been through a lot together. Toro was there for Iwaizumi when his grandmother died. Even though Iwaizumi didn't show it, Toro knew how much his best friend had suffered. And Iwaizumi was there for Toro when his parents got divorced. They were there for each other all their lives. Toro trusted Iwaizumi that he wouldn't leave him just because he didn't want a soulmate. Toro would be hurt if he couldn't be with his soulmate in a romantic way, but he could bear it as long as he would not lose Iwaizumi completely. Toro paced his room while Iwaizumi sat on his bed and watched him. The ace was getting more and more nervous. The more he saw how scared Toro was, the more scared he became himself. Toro, calm down and sit down. You make me nervous pacing like that. Please promise me we'll stay friends. No matter what I'm about to tell you. Please Iwaizumi, I can't lose you. Toro sat down on his office chair and looked at Iwaizumi. If you call me Iwaizumi, it must be really very important? Toro wiped away a single tear that ran down his cheek. Yes, it is very important to me. You are the most important person in my life. We have already experienced so much together and I trust you more than anything else in this world. I can live without a soulmate but not without you. Toro's vision blurred as tears formed in his eyes. They ran down his cheek and he tried to wipe them away to no avail as more and more ran down his face. Iwaizumi knelt down in front of Toro and pulled him into his arms. Contrary to popular belief, Iwaizumi is not a cold asshole towards Toro. He has trouble showing his feelings openly and he calls Toro by the mean pet names, but when it came down to it he could be supportive. Toro, you don't need to be afraid to tell me what you promise. I will always stay by your side. I know I don't show it often, but you are really important to me. I can't imagine a life in which we are not best friends. Can you please promise me that we won't end our friendship after I tell you? Toro calmed down when he saw Iwaizumi nod. I have found my soulmate. I finally figured out who said that word to me. I finally figured out who said those as their first words to me. Isn't it just no? Yes, exactly. When I was talking to my parents yesterday, they said something that made me understand who my soulmate is. Toro took a deep breath. You have the words "Gimme the ball" engraved at the same spot where mine is, right? Yeah, why are you asking me that? My parents said yesterday that my first words to you were "Gimme the ball" and you just say no. Oh, okay. It took Iwaizumi a moment to understand what Toro meant by that. When he understood it, he beamed all over his face. Iwaizumi jumped up, ran over and picked up Toro. The setter was surprised by the action and clung to Iwaizumi to keep him from falling. Iwaizumi swung his best friend around for a while before stopping and putting him back on his feet. He buried his face in Toro's shoulder. Are you happy about the news? I thought you never wanted to meet your soulmate? But only because I've been always in love with you and I do not want a soulmate if it's not you. So you love me too? Then I was so stressed about telling you for nothing? How could I not love you? You were always there for me when I needed you. I always hated it when you talked about your soulmate because I always fear was I would lose you because of that. I always hoped when I talked about my soulmate that it was you. I am very happy that you are not only my best friend and the love of my life but that you are also my soulmate. Toro had tears in his eyes. He looked deep into his best friend's eyes. He leaned his forehead against Iwaizumi's. His arms were still around the shoulders of the one across from him. Iwaizumi had his hands on Toro's waist. May I kiss you? Toro blushed but slowly nodded. They both took a deep breath before colliding with their lips. At first they were both a bit hesitant. But after a few seconds, Iwaizumi pulled Toro closer and deepened the kiss. Toro parted his lips slightly and allowed Iwaizumi to slip his tongue into his mouth. Iwaizumi stopped the kiss as it started to get salty. Toro's tears mixed with the kiss. Iwaizumi panicked when his best friend put his head on his shoulder and started crying. He didn't know what to do. He puts a hand on Toro's head and stroked it gently. He put his other hand on Toro's back and pulled him tightly to himself. Baby Kawa, what is it? Did I do something wrong? Toro looked up and met his soulmate's eyes. He closed his eyes and kissed him softly on the lips. No, you didn't do anything wrong. I'm just glad my soulmate feels the same way I do. I was afraid that this would interfere with our friendship. I'm so relieved that I'm your soulmate. I don't know what I would have done if you were meant for someone else. Toro put his head back on Iwaizumi's shoulder. The ace grabbed Toro's waist and lifted him up. Toro wrapped his legs around Iwaizumi's waist in response. Baby Kawa, I love you so much. Haji-chan, I love you more than anything else. Iwaizumi carried the setter to the bed and lay down with him gently. He lay on his back and Toro lay on top of him. The two lay in each other's arms for a while. What happened between you two? What do you mean? You two have been acting strange lately? You talk to each other strangely and always look at each other when you think nobody is looking. What are you talking about? We act normal? No, definitely not. You don't cling to Iwaizumi anymore and he hasn't yelled at you for weeks when you did something stupid. I haven't heard him call out shitty Kawa, trashy Kawa, or anything in weeks. Did you have a fight or what happened? Toru and Iwaizumi have been a couple for 3 months and they have decided to keep their relationship a secret. Well, their parents know about it but they didn't tell anyone else. Come on, you can tell me, maybe I can help. Hanamaki put his arm around Toru's shoulders and pulled him towards him. Toru had to laugh at his friend. Maki pouted because Toru didn't want to tell him what happened between Iwaizumi and him for weeks. Toru saw Iwaizumi across the gymnasium with Matsukawa. When Iwaizumi looked at him and smiled, his heart melted. Maki, me and Haji-chan didn't fight. We're just both busy with school and our future. Haji-chan? Toru started calling Iwaizumi Haji-chan after they started dating. He thought it would be more personal. He only called him that when they were alone though, and he still called him Iwa-chan at school. I meant Iwa-chan. What are you hiding from us? Are you two dating? Toru blushed and looked away. Oh my fucking god, you two are dating. Shut up, Maki, or do you want that everyone finds out? Sorry? Oh my fucking god, you two are dating. Iwaizumi shook his head and looked at the floor. Does your boyfriend always have to be so loud? We are not. Matsukawa's phone rang and he immediately looked who had texted him. What the fuck? Why didn't you tell me that you and Oikawa are dating? What? Iwaizumi looked at Toru. He saw how he repeatedly slapped Maki on the arm and how Yahaba stood next to the two and laughed. I guess it's out now. Yes? Me and Kawa are dating? Why didn't you say anything? Hey, answer me. Iwaizumi ignored his friend and walked over to Oikawa. He pulled his boyfriend into his arms and rested his head on Toru's shoulder. Looks like our little secret is out. Sorry Haji-chan, I accidentally gave it away. Are you angry with me? Iwaizumi let go of Toru and the setter turned and looked at him. The ace just smiled and kissed his boyfriend on the cheek. Of course not. I've been wanting to tell the others about us for a while, so it doesn't matter. Does that mean I can hug and kiss you whenever I want now? Toru kissed Iwaizumi on one cheek and then the other before kissing him on the lips. Fuck, what did I do? Oikawa will now become unbearable during the practice. Thanks Maki, now we have to endure lovey-dovey Oikawa all day long. Baby Kawa, you can kiss and hug me whenever you want. Iwaizumi pulled Toru into a deep kiss to tease Matsukawa and Hanamaki. Oikawa, knowing exactly what Iwaizumi wanted to achieve with the kiss, played along. He took a little leap and jumped into his boyfriend's arms. He wrapped his legs around Iwaizumi's waist and let out a small moan. Maki and Matsun gagged in disgust and walked away from them both. Oikawa and Iwaizumi started laughing. Toru jumped off Iwaizumi again. We should have come out earlier, then we could have been teasing them for a long time. I love you, baby Kawa. You know that, right? And you know that when I called you Shitikawa or those other mean names, I didn't really mean them. Of course, where does that come from all of a sudden? Matsun said something that bothered me a bit. I used to say those mean things to you and hit you on the back of the head, and I never thought that maybe that could have hurt you. Toru hugged Iwaizumi and lightly kissed his cheek. Of course I know that, baby. You've always been like this to me, and I know that's your way of showing affection. I know that you didn't mean to hurt me and that you love me. Is that why you haven't been calling me Shitikawa or Trashikawa lately? Yes, we are a couple now, then I shouldn't call you Shitikawa or something like that, but rather Baby Kawa or Cutie Kawa. Toru blushed at the pet names. I don't complain that you call me Baby Kawa, but only because we are dating now doesn't mean you have to change at all. I love you the way you are. You can call me Shitikawa or whatever, as long as you don't mean it. I don't care. Iwaizumi kissed Toru. After a moment he broke the kiss and looked into his boyfriend's eyes. You could see how much he loved Iwaizumi. Toru was now in his senior year of high school and he had important news to tell his beloved. Haji-chan, can you promise me that if I tell you something, you won't get mad? Depends on what you want to tell me, Trashikawa. Toru lay on Iwaizumi's bed and watched his lover doing his homework. He actually wanted to wait until Iwaizumi finished his studies, but he couldn't take it anymore. He put his phone down and looked at his boyfriend. Hajime, I'm serious. I have something to tell you and I don't want you to get mad at me when I tell you. Iwaizumi got up and walked over to his partner. He sat down next to Toru on the bed. He took the other's hand. Baby Kawa, I could never be mad at you for trying to tell me something that's important to you. What is it about? It's about what I'm going to do after we graduate. I've been fighting with myself for a while but I'm not sure what to do. Iwaizumi hugged Toru and stroked his back soothingly. After a while he broke the hug and looked into his lover's eyes. If you don't know what you want to do, we can figure it out together. You know that I'm always there for you? I mean, I know what I want to do but I don't know if I should do it. I got an offer from an Argentinian team with the possibility that I can later play for the national team in Argentina. I want to do it, but that would mean that we would be separated and I definitely don't want that. I would miss you too much. Baby Kawa, can I show you something? Toru nodded and wiped away his tears. Iwaizumi held out his hand and Toru took it. The ace pulled the setter out of bed. He led Toru to his desk and sat down on the chair. He pulled Toru towards him and grabbed his waist, turning him over and pulling him onto his lap. Haven't you ever wondered why I have to study so much more than you? Oh, not really. I just thought you're dumb. Shut up, Shitikawa. It is because of this? Iwaizumi opened a drawer and took out a folder. He opened it and took out a Spanish book. I'm in the process of learning Spanish so I can go to a college in Argentina. I'm also studying for an entrance exam for a school where I can become an athletic trainer. You knew that I want to go to Argentina? Baby, I've known you most of my life and I know you better than you know yourself. Of course I knew about your biggest dream. That you always wanted to play for Argentina and you always worked hard to achieve your goal. I don't care where I study and work as long as I can be with you. Ah, that's very sweet of you, but you're wrong about something? Toru turned to face Iwaizumi. He looked deep into the eyes of his lover. I don't think I've got anything wrong. You have? My biggest dream is not to play for the Argentine national team. You are my biggest dream? You are also my biggest dream, Toru. They shared a passionate kiss. Haji-chan, you know what? What, Baby Kawa? Our feelings for each other are true feelings. Yes, Baby Kawa, they are true feelings. I know this story is a bit shorter than usual, but I think writing Fluff is a lot harder than angst. I hope you liked it. I would like to thank Hanaka Kojume aka Nerdy Nakoma for encouraging me to write this story. To the end, I have some bad news. I'm struggling lately with my mental health and I struggle to write. I will take a week off, but I can't promise when the next video will come. I have an Instagram account where I will make updates and where I will upload smut scenes. Omis_it's99. Join my Discord server. I'm occasionally in the voice channel. If I am in the voice channel, I will announce it on Insta. Link is in the description. I apologize for the grammatical errors. Write me a comment how you liked the story. Don't forget to follow. If someone wants a video, please let me know it. I will try to write your ideas as best as possible.